you a fan of the Dragon Ball Super card game? If so, check out QueenCityGaming.com for sealed product, singles, and more. Just use promo code MafubaJar-10 to save 10% off your order every time.
Welcome back to the Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another awesome deck profile, and today's going to be kind of a unique deck here. So as you can see, this deck is going to be based around the leader Zamasu, which I've done quite a few Zamasu decks, but never one like this before. This is a blue-yellow Zamasu Storm deck profile. Now, Storm, for those of you who don't know, is basically combining the Goku's Lineage Swap engine, specifically Bardock and Goten, into mainly blue leaders because of ways that blue has to retap energy, like, say, Unyielding Spirit Trunks, and, of course, Legendary Flute. Are all just really powerful options for the deck. But those are most commonly seen with Hirudegarn and Trunks. But I chose Zamasu for a couple different reasons. And one of them is that, like, he does have access to some pretty cool stuff being a god, such as Hellas here, as a super combo. So that's really awesome as well. And not to mention his invincibility, which is amazing. So let me just go ahead and just do a quick review of the card for those of you who don't know what this leader does. Is that the main is once per turn, choose a card in your life, place in the drop area. If that card you placed in the drop area was blue, draw a card. So as ways to draw once per turn, which is okay, but since you run an almost even blend of blue and yellow, I think you actually run more yellow. Yeah, you run more yellow than blue. So odds of you actually drawing a card off this are slim, but it's still nice to have just to help you awaken quicker. He awakens at 2 life, unlike any other leader that we've seen, and he draws 2 when he awakens. This was released in Union 4, so this was before the Untap 2 was made into a thing. So his awakened side here, auto draw a card when he attacks, of course, but his permanent is why I've chosen Zamasu as my leader for Storm. If damage is inflicted to your life, place 5 cards from the top of your deck into the drop area, 10 if you receive 2 damage from a double strike, 15 triple, and so on and so forth. So basically, this fixes one of Storm's greatest weaknesses. And is that, like, yeah, they can overwhelm you, but they usually leave themselves at like 1 or 2 life. And just 2 hits can knock you out if you don't have all the right negates. Zamasu here is technically immortal, and your deck becomes your life. So, even though you do thin out the deck with this, it still gives you more endurance. You can take more hits than you'd be able to with only 2 life, and you still, of course, run all the defense cards as well to protect you from milling. But even if you do mill, that also fills up Overwhelm, which I do have some Overwhelm cards in here, so it makes using Overwhelm so much easier, and overall, it just helps balance out the deck quite a bit. So let me go into the actual deck profile now. I'm going to be starting off here with 3 Successor of Hope. Now this is going to be our search card for basically our Bardock, but it's a 0 cost. You search for Goku's Lineage when energy costs are 5 or less and swap. And this is the 1 card we have for it. And it's going to be Bardock the Progenitor. He's a 1-drop, swap 2, and his auto is when you play this card, choose 1 card of your life, add it to your hand. So it helps you awaken much faster, and it has a swap of 2. What that means is that you could play a Goku's Lineage with a cost of 2, and return that to your hand. And of course, the swap of 2 we have here is Goten. Goten is probably one of the most amazing yellow cards I have ever seen in this game. So, 2-drop, but that doesn't even matter because we use Bardock mostly to bring him out. You hardly ever hardcast him. And his auto is when this card attacks, you look at up to the top 3 of your cards, and you pick any card among them, add it to your hand, and put the other 2 at the bottom of your deck in any order. So not only is it another attack on top of Bardock with swap, but you're also searching for any card you might need among the top 3, which is amazing. And back before when Flute was at 4, we were able to do this endlessly every single turn, and the deck was basically unbeatable. But it's still a very powerful deck, it's just a lot more fair now. Alright, and next up here we're going to be running 3 copies of Planet Vegeta. Now this searches every single sand in our deck, because when you play this card, you choose, you can pick any sand in your deck that's a 4 cost or lower, and add it to your hand, which, as I said, is literally every single sand in this deck. So this searches everything on top of Successor of Hope. And the other auto is at the end of your turn, switch all Great Apes in your battle area to active mode, which we do have some Great Apes in here, so we will be using that effect. So I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the defense cards. First off here is going to be 3 copies of Gine, Family of Justice. She's basically the free blocker as long as Bardock is out on your battle area or leader area, but obviously we're not worried about the leader part. So free 5k blocker, never bad. And we also do run our Great Ape in the deck for, 3 Bardock Will of Iron. So he's a double striker and a blocker, and during your turn at the end of the battle after you combo with this card, choose up to one of your Bardock and evolve it into this. So let's say you have a Bardock out here and you just attack with a Goten. You could combo with this card during the battle with a Goten and evolve it into the Bardock right away. So you have a double strike blocker out, and its name is still Bardock, so you can still put that in Gine for free, as long as you have one of those Bardocks out. And since it is a Great Ape, you can attack it with Double Strike, and as long as you have Planet Vegeta out, it'll go back to active mode at the end of your turn, so you can use them as a blocker. So yeah, it's a very powerful card. It was considered to be the most powerful Great Ape back when the Great Apes were like the meta. It was this along with the Vegeta that were the 2 most powerful, but this was always just a powerhouse. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of our blue cards in the deck. Of course, we're going to be running 4 copies of Unyielding Spirit Trunks. This is usually the most common card you search with Planet Vegeta, because it's just too amazing. When you combo with it during your turn, you get to untap one of your energies. Doesn't matter what color it is, either, which is so busted. Your leader just has to be blue. So you can just untap a yellow energy. If you have multiple Barks in your hand, you can just play, attack, combo with Trunks, swap, play the Bardock again, and just do it over and over. And that's how that endless loop was created. It's not impossible to do that loop now. It's just, without Flute at 4, it's nowhere near as common to pull off, but you could still very well pull it off. You just have to be a little bit more careful with your choices now. And for more blue cards, I'm also running 3 copies of Raging Spirit Son Gohan. He's basically, you combo with him and you get to play him in rest mode. So he's a pretty good defensive card, and not to mention it gives you another attacker during your turn that you only paid 1 energy for during your opponent's turn. So this is one of the cards I've added to help out with swaps, the fact that I can't do the two-turn kill as often as I used to be able to. So you want to be able to establish a little bit more of a field, and that's why I've got the Gohan there. Alright, now for our super combo, Elegant Assistant Hellas. Now, one of the most powerful aspects of Hirudegarn Storm is its super combo card Hoi, which lets you pitch a card to draw 2. Well, Hellas does the exact same thing, but except if your leader is a Universe 2 or God, which, of course, Zamasu is a God, so this applies to him. So it's really, really powerful, gives you such great card advantage, and you will be at 4 energy by turn 2 guaranteed. Guaranteed by turn 2 you will be at least 4 energy. I think there was like once or twice that I just had like the perfect hand and I got there by like my first turn going second? Yeah, okay, I think it was only once. It was only once I was able to do that. But still, it's just crazy to think about. And next up here, for our other god, we're going to be running Furthering Destruction Champa, just to help out with attacks from our Bardocks, Goten, stuff like that, just to help push our game a little bit more. And along with that, going to be running 2 copies of Mira and 1 copy of Scientist Few as our overwhelm cards. Now, Mira is amazing. He deals with Vegeta no problem, and Storm struggles heavily against Hercule, which is one of the most powerful leaders in the game right now. And Mira is like the best one, probably the best way for Storm to deal with it, because no matter how big Hercule's hand is and how much it could draw, it's not comboing out of a Mira. Like, they either wasting a gate or they're taking a hit. And especially if you combine Mira with Double Strike, unless they negate, it's basically a guaranteed Double Strike. Because even without comboing, I have gotten to like well past 150 with this guy. Because he's an overwhelm 4, you tap 1, he has Deflect, which is a really nice bonus. And then the auto at the bottom states that when his card attacks, his card gains 5,000 power for each card in your warp for the rest of the turn. Which is stupid! Like, you hit the big numbers really, really quickly. He has another auto, but that only applies to when you use the Union Absorb to bring him out, which we don't run that in the deck, so that's not a skill you need to worry about. And of course, a Scientist Fu just because it's Scientist Fu. From 7, tap 1, double strike, when you play him, draw 2. There's no reason not to be running Fu in any deck. He's just too good. Just way too good in my opinion. Alright, and now for some more of our extra cards, we have, of course, the 1 Legendary Flute. Even at 1, it's still too powerful not to run. You get to bounce, if your leader card is blue, you bounce back either one of yours or one of your opponent's battle cards with a 3 cost or less. And if it was yours, you get to draw a card. It's just too powerful. Too powerful not to run at 1. Alright, next up here we have 4 copies of Senzu Bean, just another way to restand energy to keep our loop going, along with Trunks. Not to mention it gives power to Bardock and Goten, because eventually when your opponents awaken, they'll be at 15, and Bardock and Goten will be at 10. So you do need other ways other than comboing to help boost up their power. And another way to deal with some troublesome matchups, we run 2 copies of Bad Ring Laser. Now, this is pretty much that has stopped negates such as Nimbus, Whis, stuff like that. But Xenobite is starting to see a lot more play again, and this could stop that as well. So, could really put them in a bad spot. As far as our negates go, we run 2 copy of Whis just so we can have a free negate if we happen to have a blue energy on top instead of a yellow. And of course, 4 copies of Flying Nimbus, because it is arguably the most powerful negate in the game. So you negate, then you pitch a yellow card, and your opponent can only attack with battle cards once more during their turn. So the best time to play a Nimbus is if your opponent makes the mistake of attacking with their leader first. You get away a Nimbus, so they can only attack with a battle card once. So they only get 1 more attack from there, so it helps you stay alive much longer. And a neat little combo to do here is that, like, sometimes you're not able to leave a yellow untapped with a blue untapped. So if they attack, you go ahead and play the Whis. The wording on Whis says that, like, negate the attack, then choose up to 1 of your energy and switch it to active mode. We usually just treat it as a free negate, so we don't really worry about that. But you can tap a blue to play this and untap a yellow to go ahead and play Nimbus like that. So it's a really, really neat combo that I've pulled off a few times. Ideally, you want to keep a yellow untap, but that's not always the case, so... Just in case you're not able to leave a yellow on top, you do have a way to untap a yellow during your opponent's turn to just go off like crazy while still negating an attack. I know Senzu Bean can do it too. Alright guys, this will do it for my Zamasu Storm deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy this deck. It has been so much fun for me. And it's a really creative way to look at Storm outside of the whole Trunks and Hirudegan stuff. Like, they're really fun. They're powerful. Like, the results in tournaments definitely show. But I don't think those are the only blue leaders that could utilize Storm. I think Zamasu is a great contender for that. Especially, again, because of his invincibility. Just being able to tank more hits than Trunks or Hirudegan can. So... there goes. That's my reasoning behind that. This is my profile. Hope you guys enjoy it. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day and you have been released.